Hey guys, so last night I got home from my trip to China. Some of you may have known that I was in China for the last 2 weeks. Some of you may be really confused because I did have pre-uploaded videos for the past 2 weeks every other day. I want to take this entire video to tell you exactly what I did in China. I have a lot of cool stuff over here to haul for you from China. I'm going to show you pictures. They're all just gonna kind of fly on the screen as I talk. First off, why Ayydubs? Why were you in China? My mom loves traveling, as do the rest of us, but particularly my mom. So she books 2 trips a year, and so my family travels a lot. I've been to every continent except for Antarctica. I've almost been to 40 countries now, and if you guys want me to do another video on that, I can. Places that we traveled were Beijing, Xian, Chengdu, and Shanghai. Once you get into the airport in China, they have a machine that checks your body temperature as you walk through, and if you're sick, you literally are not allowed to enter the country. So we started off in Beijing. To be 100% honest, I didn't know that much about China before I went to China, so I was really surprised by how advanced the cities are. I mean, probably just as, if not more advanced than our cities. The architecture in China is incredible. First night we got there, we didn't do much because it was kind of late, so we went to get dinner. I learned right off the bat that they don't serve cold water in restaurants in China. They serve boiling hot water. Most people drink tea kind of as a replacement of water, but it's not safe to drink the water, so if they do serve you water, it's always boiling. Not the most appetizing thing, I will tell you. It's not that appetizing. Restaurants also don't have napkins. Customarily, you have to pay $1 and then they'll give you napkins, but paper products are really expensive in China, so my dad was freaking out because he's a little bit of a clean freak, so he was not content with that. Our first day of touring, we went to the Forbidden City and we went to the Temple of Heaven. Some of you may be familiar with the Forbidden City because it is the most popular, I'd say maybe the second most popular tourist attraction in China. It was so crowded. I read before I went to China that people in China don't really believe in lines, that they're very pushy, and I didn't, what does that even mean? I didn't even think anything of it, but oh my god! You're trying to look at something and everyone is just jamming into each other. Literally worse than a concert. I was amazed by the behavior of adults, but it's not rude in their culture. For about 600 years, I believe 24 emperors lived in the Forbidden City. It was basically, it has a moat around it. It's this little area, actually it's a pretty big area, where them and their staff and their family all stayed, whoever was an emperor during said dynasty. And now it's kind of just a museum. By the way, I'm going to be showing you things very soon, I promise. We rode in little rickshaws. Who knew that people still use those around the city? And then we went to the Temple of Heaven, which was one of my favorite places. By the way, Temple of Heaven is not actually a temple. In order for something to be a temple, you need monks and you need a legitimate Buddha statues. So the Temple of Heaven is really just a place of worship. It's not actually a temple, but I loved it. It was my favorite place for sure because it was just beautiful. We went to the Pearl Market, which is a very popular market in China, and it's a place where you bargain. It's a place where most of the stuff is knockoff. You know, they have iPods, but they're not Apple. They have fake designer bags, which, I mean, I personally am not too picky. If I buy something that's fake, and I know it, I'm fine with it. So I did buy some stuff, and I will show you. I bargained. Like I said, my family travels a lot, so throughout the years, I've learned to be a pro bargainer, which always throws people off because I'm young, so they expect to just, you know, get whatever out of me. But I bargain well. And you have to also be really careful because they'll give you money, which isn't really worth anything there, so you have to say, no, please give me the correct amount of money. You have to be kind of mean, which I don't like, but, so they had fake Longchamps, which, by the way, honestly look completely real, and I got a medium-sized one in blue for myself, and then I picked up another one for my friend Trudy. I just want to show you though how real they really do look. They have the button and everything. And I got this Thomas Wilde clutch. It's got skulls on it. I was almost forced into buying this. Oh wow. at the marketplace, the people are so determined to sell you things that they'll literally grab you and hold on to you until you buy something. But yeah, this woman was just not giving up, and I kind of like this anyways. So I got this. Hold on. I got this clutch. It's pretty clutch. I really like it. I do like it a lot. Okay, moving on from the marketplace. I also got this, I mean, it's absolutely not Dolce & Gabbana, but it's, you know, it's knockoff, which is not even why I bought it. I didn't even know it was Dolce & Gabbana in the first place. But it's this little light, kind of like faux leather jacket. Just feels like it's a really nice thing to own for the summertime when it's like somewhat raining, but not really. It's a very specific time to wear it. It's just a jacket. Something pretty cool that I learned while I was there is that they rank, well, they used to do this, not so much anymore, but they rank their buildings or just houses with little bolts above the door, which are meant to be stars, kind of like how we rank hotels, which I just thought was really funny because walking around, you just see how easy it is for someone to just put however many bolts they want above their door to show how important they are. I don't actually believe it was for businesses. I think it was more about status back in the day, but again, I just thought it was humorous because you really could put whatever you wanted on your door. We had Peking duck right here, which were served on duck plates. I thought that was very funny. Just a famous meal in Beijing, and it was so good. It's like a Chinese taco, kind of. You wrap it, so that's pretty much why I call it a taco. But it was so good. The food in China is so good. Pretty much most people like Chinese food. Chinese American food is nothing like Chinese food. Just as good, but completely different. And so much lighter in Chinese food. I will say they do have a lot of oily food, and they do have more salt in their food than we do, but not as much as Chinese American food. Also, so much of Chinese American food is made up. My favorite Chinese food has always been crab ragoon. They don't even cook with milk in China, let alone cream cheese, because actually people who live in China are mostly lactose intolerant, which is awesome because I am too, so I like really wasn't getting sick. They weren't making anything with milk in it. They don't even have food with cheese that often. The next day we went to the Great Wall of China, which was really, really cool. We took a gondola up and then we tobogganed down, you know, that's in the Olympics, like, or luging. You get on the little metal thing and you slide down. It's very touristy, but it was very fun. We went to a tea factory. By the way, we went to a lot of tea sanctuaries, tea factories, tea stores. They love their tea in China. And we bought these really cool cups. Really cool cups. Okay, so this is the size of the cup. It's pretty much one serving of tea. It has this cup. It's a filter to put in, so you can put the leaves or the tea bag or whatever other, there's many types of teas. They're like little fruit teas, but whatever type of tea you're using, you put in here, and then the water filters through, so you don't have to take it out, or like you can reuse it. So then you just take this out, stick it in again, put more water in, and use it throughout the day. Random little fact, I think aside from tea bags, most tea leaves or tea things you use to make tea are meant to last for an entire day. And then it has its lovely little cap. But that's not what's special about this cup. What's special about this cup is that it actually changes colors when you put heat in it. So the second you pour your hot tea in, it becomes even more beautiful than this nice little plain Chinese writing. But the cup that I got has the Temple of Heaven on it because, like I said, that was my favorite place that we went to. And I will insert a photo. I insert a video. You'll see it right here of this changing colors. So that's what we got at the tea factory. Very exciting. Also, this is another one we got. My mom wanted it, and it was a panda. It turns into a panda. So this was the coolest part of my trip by far. To get from Beijing to Xian, instead of taking a plane, we decided to take a sleeper car. Sleeper car is basically a train that you sleep on, and it was so cool. So you have this, you'll see the videos and pictures right here, but you have this really, really teensy hallway, and it's packed with rooms that are so small you can barely fit your luggage in. We had to really strategically place things around in order for us to all fit. So I went with my, sorry I didn't say this before, but with my mom and dad and my sister Sam. I have 2 other sisters, but they weren't on this trip because they're both working right now. So there were 4 beds in the room. They fit all of us. My sister and I were on the top and my parents were on the bottom, and it was quite the experience. It was really fun. It was really fun. So, you know, we got on the train at about 8 o'clock and then arrived at maybe 9 a.m. the next morning. The train station was probably the most interesting part. It's basically like you're at Penn Station, but in another language, with more people, and it's much louder. We were relatively confused at first. So we got to Xian, and the first thing we did was visit the Terracotta soldiers. It used to be custom for emperors to bury their army with them, dead or alive, to protect them. So, you know, they'd bury maybe 10,000 people alive. Then this one emperor came along, and I'm not going to say his name, I know it, but I'm going to butcher it, so just to save myself from embarrassment, and decided that he didn't want to kill his army, so instead he'd have sculptures made, life-size sculptures made out of each and every one of them. So about 8,000 were made, and then they buried them underneath the ground. Some of them were destroyed after he died because people didn't like him, so that was very unfortunate, but 2,000 as of right now are revealed. They've dug up, and there are estimated to be 8,000. They only found these about 30 years ago. The Terracotta soldiers are, I think, the 8th world wonder. They're on the world wonder list. After we rode bikes around the Xian city wall, my sister and I tried a double bike, but that is hard. It's really hard, I swear. So we gave up on that. So that night we went to, okay, this is the greatest. We went to the Muslim Quarter, which is, it's kind of like how we have Chinatown, but in China they have the Muslim area. So we went to the Muslim Quarter for dinner, and everything was in Chinese. We had a restaurant we wanted to go to because one of the people who worked at the hotel suggested it. So we had this Chinese name written on a piece of paper, and we were walking around this really crowded area holding it up to all the signs, like trying to find this restaurant. We ended up just asking people, and then we found it. Turns out that the letters didn't even match, so we were just doing that for no reason for hours. We got food. Most of going to restaurants was a lot of pointing because the menus actually have photos. Sorry, my voice. No, a lot of people didn't speak English. It was really hard to get around and communicate with people, or I guess not communicate with people. Say we took a train to Luoyang for a day, and we went to the Longmen Grottos, which are essentially just caves with religious figures in them. I fell down a flight of stairs at this destination, right down, and I cracked my phone, and I have a killer bruise, which I would totally show you if it wasn't on my ass. Before we left the area, we went to a Kung Fu school, which was really interesting. First thing you see when you walk into the school is like 2,000 kids outside practicing Kung Fu. They have an 8-hour school day. 4 to 6 of those hours are spent practicing Kung Fu, which was insane. And then we went to a Kung Fu show. One kid could do push-ups and things with 2 fingers. Impressive. Another kid broke metal with his hand, and then another one had good enough aim with a needle that he hit a hole through a wall of glass and could hit the balloon without shattering the glass. It was very impressive. The next place we went to was Chengdu. The hotel was in this little marketplace, so we got to try food, and here's a video of my sister eating a scorpion, which is absolutely disgusting, but the street food is really good. You just have to be careful and make sure it's cooked, otherwise it's really not healthy. You could definitely get sick. And here I bought these candies for my friends, and I got the silver bangle, turquoise beads on it. The night that we got in Chengdu, we went to a show. It was a very interesting show. At first I didn't like it too much. It seemed like an adult talent show. It just wasn't that good. People were playing instruments and I was like, ugh, subpar. Judgmental. Then there were 3 acts that just like, wow. First one, a guy made ham puppets, hand figures, animals. It was a how do I say this? Hand shadows, but with his hands, and they were animals. Another guy made noises that were incredibly weird. Didn't think that could come out of a human, came out of him. And then the last act was the most famous one in the show, which are the mask changing. Look it up on Google, it's pretty cool. These people change masks instantaneously, right before your eyes, not using their hands. And to this day, people still don't know how they do it. The toilets in China are mostly squatting toilets, which are holes in the ground. Not too pleasant. So my family and I were like really trying to find Western style toilets whenever we went out. The reason we went to Chengdu was to go to a panda reserve. My mom really likes animals. I never really thought too much of pandas until I went there. They are giant, adorable, stuffed animals. That's what they are. I swear they're so cute. They also had red pandas there. Check this out. Red panda is probably the cutest animal ever. But we went a little panda crazy. These are just a few of the pandas we bought. And I'm probably going to keep one, but most of these pandas are for my friends. You know, gifts to bring back. There are a lot of pandas. We have a pile of pandas downstairs. And these are my two favorites. I'll take them out of the package. This was completely crushed in my luggage. It's a panda dressed as a frog. It's just so cute. Not a frog, I'm sorry, turtle. But it's so cute. Supposedly it's a common saying in China to stop acting like a giant panda when someone's being greedy or lazy. My mom and I just about died when we heard this. Like, just imagine someone being like, hey, stop acting like a giant panda. Park People Square, it's a very popular area in where we were, and I'd like to say one thing that was there and in a lot of other places that I really liked about China was that they all know like a series of dance moves and songs, and then they just gather in public places and dance together as a form of exercise and entertainment, which I thought was really, really cool, and we should do that. We should do that. They also had this fake fashion show going on where old people were just kind of like strutting down, enjoying themselves, and it just looked really fun. So they had matchmaking, which I thought was only in Mulan, but apparently existed. This is obviously an old tradition that has progressed over the time. Nowadays, matchmaking for them is like you print out a page about yourself. You don't necessarily need to have a photo on it. Most of them didn't have photos. And you stick it up on this fence, and everyone stands around reading each other's, and you put your phone number on it and they call each other, but they're all there, so you're calling people who are there, and you just meet up and see if you're compatible. To me, it just seemed a whole lot like internet dating, but not on the internet. Probably a lot safer. It's Chinese, safe internet dating. Our final destination was Shanghai. Shanghai reminded me a lot of New York City. It's a very, very advanced city, and it's beautiful. So, I bought a little bit there, and before I tell you what we did there, I'm just going to show you what I bought. I got this watch. It's like a triple wraparound watch, and the numbers are in Roman numerals. It's really cool. It's very vintage looking. And then I actually bought the leggings that I'm wearing right now, so I have to lift my leg. They're so soft, but they're skulls. Do you see the skulls? They're awesome. And I bought this sweater. My mom saw it and was like, we have to buy that for you because it's orange, which is Ayydubs already, and then has this little pendant with a skull on it. These vintage bracelets, 3 of them, we bargained for these. It's the first one. Second one's got skulls on it. I really like my skulls. I really like my skulls. Beads. And we went to a temple. I'd like to say one of the most amazing things about China, particularly Shanghai, I believe, was just that there was so much Chinese culture, like old culture and traditions that they have upheld, while there's this amazing city, you know, that's really advanced. And the fact that they can balance those two was really incredible to me. Just one thing was the fact that I was standing in the middle of the temple and I looked up and there's skyscrapers. Future Shanghai. Show you a photo. It literally looks like the year 3000 type of buildings. Incredible. not that populated. People don't really live there. It's primarily for businesses, and they just kind of created this area recently. So we were looking across the water from, I guess, old Shanghai to new Shanghai, and my dad noticed that there was a way to get to the other side underground. We did not expect to happen what happened. So we went down, we bought our tickets to go to new Shanghai. We get in little carts. I thought it was going to be a train, but like little train carts. And you're in a tunnel, it lights up. It's like an amusement ride. It was honestly cooler than a Disney ride. And it was just purely for traveling purposes, but it was amazing. Last thing we did on the last day was visit a place that was kind of like, they call the Venice of China, because it's this town that's in water, and we just went shopping and looked around, and it was fun. The last thing I want to haul for you guys is tea. Like I said, in China, tea is very popular. They drink it almost like water. First one, it's not actually tea, it's fruit tea. You put this dried up fruit in the filter, and then it filters out the flavor, and it's very sweet. It's like almost a fruit drink. One of them's downstairs, but the one of the type of teas we bought was a very sweet tea naturally, and I believe this is the one. The packaging is the same, so I'm not sure. And that one was for people who have digestion problems. There was one tea that helps you lose weight, so we were like, we'll try it. It's just green tea. I was like, Mom, this is actually kind of stupid for us to buy. But yeah, we got a lot of tea. There is everything. If you want me to do other videos about my travels, then just leave a comment down below and ask. Also, I wrote on my Tumblr every single day an entry about what we did, so if you want to see my writing in more depth about what we were doing, I will link my Tumblr down below. Oh, before I go, one more interesting thing was just that when I was in China, I couldn't communicate with you guys at all, because Twitter is blocked, Facebook is blocked in most areas. In the areas that I was in China, they were blocked. Yeah, YouTube was blocked. I couldn't even get on YouTube. They're wondering, the reason I didn't vlog while I was there is because it was a family trip, and I really wanted to get as much of the experience and spend as much time with my family as I could. I apologize for those of you who wanted me to do vlogs, but hopefully this makes it up a little bit. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.